What's up YouTube? It's your boy Pimpnite here. We are doing a full Guzma team. This one is for Patreon. If you want your theme team done for that, you can check it out in the description of the video or on the screen during the battle. Alright, this one is for Blue. Thank you very much for being a Patreon. You've been awesome. Now, he actually wanted a mix of Guzma's team from the in-game and from the battle tree. So I did a mix of both these teams together, and there was quite a lot of weaknesses, which made it pretty fun. And I brought a couple of interesting sets to this battle, as usual too. If you want to battle against me, I'm accepting them on my pimp chat at a random time most days, and probably every day when Pokebank comes out. Okay, so I've got my special pincer here as the lead. Yes, special pincers and special pincer with like hardly any move pool. Now, fun fact, it actually, I can't get struggle bug on it anymore because that TM actually got taken out. Okay, so I have to swap out of that one because I can't do anything to Miss Magus at all. It's going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here. Now, I was running a special Masquerain here. I've got a choice specs on this. I'm running max speed, max special attack. I've got Bug Buzz, Hydro Pump on this as my main. I've got Ice Beam, and I'm trying to think what my... Just another coverage move on that. My main moves I'm using most of the time will be Hydro Pump and Bug Buzz. Okay, so it does a fair chunk of damage to Miss Megas there. It's got nice special defense, so it's not going to... I knew that it wasn't going to kill. I just wanted to get some solid damage on it. That's going to be my Masquerain down to the just the Hex Will-O-Wisp combo there. Alright, so bringing in my Golos pod here. Now, I've got a couple of... This is not a bad set, this one. I've got max attack and I've got max special attack on this set. So here I went for the Aqua Jet here. Torkoals are going to come in, probably expecting first impression there. So it's got Drought, so the Aqua Jet isn't going to do as much there. I mean, I'm not sure if they expected the Aqua Jet, but if they did, that's fine. That's going to do not too much to Torkoal there. So here I'm going to go for the Scald here. This is also my only special move I got on this. It's just to catch someone off guard, a little bit of a surprise factor, and to spread a few burns there. Okay, so it's going to get hit by a Fire Blast in the sun. I've got my Citrus Bear on this, so I can just stop that emergency exit at least once. Now, here I was thinking, well, there's no point in me staying into this. I'm going to save Golos Pod for later on. So on that, I had First Impression, Aqua Jet, Sucker Punch, and Scald there. Okay, so bring in probably the best, most reliable Pokemon on my team, being Toxapex. This had, as you can see, my team has a lot of weaknesses to rock and things like that. So I had to have a very bulky Pokemon defense. So I've got this max health, max defense with a special defense boosting nature there. And I've got leftovers on this as well. I've got Toxic Infestation on this. I've got Baneful Bunker, which is basically just like Protect, really. It's a signature move. And I've got... I think I've already... That's most of it. And I've got Recover on this, just for some recovery, obviously. So that was probably the more standard Pokemon on my team. The rest were a little bit... all of them are really, really different there. Okay, so I was expecting maybe a Psychic move on this. So I thought, let's go for Baneful Bunker. Let's just check what it is. What it's going to be. I've already got the Toxic up. Then it's going to go for the Nasty Plot there. So I'm like, oh, that's not good. Okay, so my little core here for my team was Toxapex, and I also had Honchkrow. Since it's weak, this is weak to Psychic, I thought Honchkrow would be a nice like swap in for it. The only problem was the weakness of electric types, right? Which, here we go, we have an electric type here. So this was the main counter to this core. So I thought, I took a really big risk here. I thought, let's go into Honchkrow. It's probably going to use Psychic here. And it's going to go for the T-Bolt there. So that's going to be my Honchkrow down. There wasn't much I had really no swap-ins for that at all. Like, if you look at the rest of my team, none of them could really swap into that one at all. Okay, so I've got the Poison on that, and that's racking up there nicely. So I was thinking, well, I could bring in Toxapex again, or I could just use Golos Pod and go for the First Impression. I didn't reveal it early on in the game, so I thought I might reveal it now. So they do stay in, which is good, and that's going to easily take it out there. Now, I could have revealed that earlier on, and they probably would have swapped then. So that's kind of what I like, saving the First Impression to maybe mid-game or later on in the game. There. Okay, so Militix is going to come in here. There's nothing I can really do to this at all. I'm going to get absolutely wrecked by that. I have to swap out, so I'm going to go back and do Toxapex here. As I said, this was definitely the probably the MVP of my team there. A lot of the other sets were gimmicky. Now, we'll go over what that Honchkrow set that was a Roost set. I had Nightshade on that one too. I had Feather Dance, and I also had Foul Play, and it was a bulky special defense one there. So it worked rather well with the Toxapex. Okay, except when you come up against a solid counter like that. Alright, so out comes the Minior. Now this was where things started to get a little bit dangerous. Okay, so it's going to go into its shield form to this thing here. Basically, you can't hit it with any like status, like toxic, why it's in the meteor form, and then it goes to its core form when it breaks out at half health. So I couldn't hit it with anything. I only had my Toxapex, and I couldn't really swap out either. And this thing was like very, very strong against I think every Pokemon was weak to this one. Yeah, every one of my Pokemon was weak to this, so it made things rather difficult. Okay, so we're going to have a Shell Smash up there. I'm trying to get it out of its meteor form so I can come back in here, mate, with Golispod and maybe hit it for a super effective attack. Okay, so here I've got the Infestation going. Now, Infestation actually does nice damage too. I'm just protecting off here with Baneful Bunker. There wasn't like much I could do. I knew that Earthquake was going to probably one-shot me after these Shell Smashes. Very, very strong. I really needed one more to break it out of its form. So I went for the double Baneful Bunk here, which I actually got, which is awesome. And that's going to be enough damage for the Infestation to break it out of its meteor form into its core form. Now the shiny actually looks pretty decent here. It's like it's black and it's got like all the colors in it. All of the forms are black too. Just with I think all the colors could be very similar or slightly different. They basically just look the same anyway. Okay, so I've got Regenerator on Toxapex too, so that's a very, very good Pokemon. I'm going to swap into my Pinsir here. That was probably the least needed Pokemon I had in this battle. Now, I do have, there is some bloopers at the end of this and some action for some of these other Pokemon. Didn't really get too much in this battle, so make sure you stick around for the whole video. That is rather entertaining. Okay, so bringing Golispod again here. So as mentioned before, I do have Aqua Jet. I really need to take this thing out, so I'm going to was probably just enough to take it out there. With the low base power and everything, and with the meteor form, it's very, very high in defenses, so I was waiting for it to go into the core form, where its defenses weren't as bulky. Okay, so Krookodile is going to come in here. It's going to intimidate me. There's not too much I can really do here. I thought, well, I could go for Scald, or I could just swap. I decided to go in for Scald here. Now, it's going to go for the bulk up here, which is interesting. Going for the Scald here, hoping for the burn, does pretty good damage there. I mean, even with max special attack, it's absolutely garbage anyway. The main thing is just to get a bit of a surprise and spread a burn. Okay, so going for the Aqua Jet here, even with the Intimidate, still does it all right. Now, Krookodile's going to go for the Power Trip here. Now, what Power Trip does, it's very, very similar to Stored Power, right? Except it's a physical move and it's dark, so it does the same thing as Store Power, so the more boost you get, the more powerful it is. Okay, so I get emergency exit out of it, which is fine. I'm glad that was burnt. I'm going to get hit by the 5. I actually take that one. I didn't think I would. Cross Poison actually misses there, so I was like, I wonder how that missed. So at this point, I was thinking, well, it must be Bright Powder. That's the only way it could have missed. So Ariados is going to go down to that. That's kind of unfortunate. I didn't have anything to hit it with anyway. Like that was actually a physically sweeping one. With the, I had the scope lens on that. I had focus energy. I had Night Slash and Cross Poison. That was the type of set I was running on it. Okay, so we have the Torkoal coming in here. I need to get rid of this thing. It's quite walling my Golispod pretty well here. I don't want to take any more Fire Blasts either, so I just went for First Impression. It does pretty good damage still, even though it's not very effective. Okay, so Toxapex is going to be able to tank really anything this Torkoal can throw at it. Even its boosted Fire Blast and stuff. Now, also, this is really cool. Since Torkoal gets a Drought now, it can easily fire off those Solar Beams. So instead of relying on a weaker Hidden Power Grass, I mean, you could run a very nice Shell Smash sweeping one now and have very strong stab in the sun, as well as firing off a very powerful Solar Beam to get around rock types and things like that. Pretty decent. And of course, Pelipper gets the Drizzle, which is cool there too. Alright, so going for the Toxic here on the Miss Magius here. I was expecting Miss Magius to probably use like Will-O-Wisp or Hex or one of those moves that it was carrying. I knew that if I put a Poison up on it, I wouldn't be able to use something like Destiny Bond. I wasn't sure of all of its other moves there. Anyway, so the main thing is I've got a Poison on. Okay, so here I'm thinking, well, I could just go for Baneful Bunker again, let that Poison rack up for another turn, and it's going to die to the next one. So there wasn't much I could do here. Like, I really had to rely on my Toxapex here. Just a lot of the Pokemon on this team were just countered so heavily by all the others there, or they just got wiped out earlier on because I had nothing really good to swap into. Okay, so one more turn. This Miss Magius is going to go down. Going for the Scumbag Baneful Bunker again doesn't work, and it's going to go for the Power Gem here, which is fine. See, even Power Gem, that would have wrecked like all of my Pokemon except Toxapex. There were so many counters. So Miss Magius is going to go down there. The sun is gone now, so that's all good. So there's still 3 Pokemon remaining. I need to get rid of the Torkoal, the Milotic, and the Krookodile. So I knew that the Milotic would come into this one. I wasn't sure what set it was running here. It can run like multiple ones. It's going to go for the Hydro Pump, so it clearly doesn't have anything really strong to hit me with. That's not going to do anything here. So this part I did actually speed up a little bit because I went for the Infestation here. Now I'm actually guessing it had the Marvel Skull there because it had the Flame Orb there. And it actually was running a Coil set, which was interesting. So it had Coil, it had Hydro Pump. I'd say that one just to give it. I actually run a very similar set. I ran like a Coil Hydro Pump to have 100% accuracy on Hydro Pump, give myself a little bit more bulk too. Okay, so I just needed to stall out the Milotic. There was nothing I could do. Milotic is a very stally Pokemon itself, so it's sort of a bit of a stall war here. And also the Torkoal was very stally too, which made things rather difficult. Okay, so as I said, I sped this one up about 300 or 400 times here because it was a very, very long part in the battle. I wasn't sure if it had Recover, but it would have gone on for a very, very long time, I'd say. So it was good that they didn't spam Recover because I actually didn't even use Recover. I don't think I used Recover at all in this entire battle. I just relied on Regenerator. Anyway, so slowing it down a little bit there, bringing in Crocodile with the Intimidate here. I know this thing definitely would be carrying Earthquake, so I just thought, bugger it, I'm just going to let it die here instead of going for Baneful Bunker, and I'm pretty confident that I can finish off the rest with Golisopod here. Okay, but it didn't actually take me out there, which was good. I was able to get the Toxic off here, which was nice, and then I could go for the Baneful Bunker the next round here. So I was thinking, well, there's probably a good chance they're not going to stay in for the next one, expecting me to protect, and then I could go Recover, or I could just go for Infestation again on the next Pokemon, or Toxic again. That was my choice at this point in the game. So we both had 2 Pokemon left remaining. I decided to swap out into Golisopod again. I thought I'm going to go for the double swap here and go into Golisopod because I'm expecting that or a swap there. I went for a really big risk here, and since Golisopod resists that, I take that one very, very nicely there. So now I'm set up to go for a priority move on the Crocodile, or the Torkoal's going to have to swap in and take a priority move too. Okay, so Crocodile's going to swap out there, as I thought, and I knew it would come in here. So I thought, well, I can just go for First Impression or Aqua Jet. They're really going to do about the same sorts of damage. Even Scald does too, because since its defense, its special defense is a lot weaker than its defense. However, the Sunlight powers it down a lot. Okay, so I'm going to have to swap out here again. This was the whole thing. This was the Golisopod couldn't take out the Torkoal. The Torkoal couldn't take out the Toxapex, but the Crocodile could take out the Toxapex. It was like a four-way battle here, so we were trying to get around each other's Pokemon. Okay, so the main thing was here, I did get the Toxic on the Crocodile. The Torkoal here couldn't actually swap out either. I just sped this little bit up here. So I got the Infestation up so the Torkoal couldn't swap here. Now I'm going to go for the Toxic. The Toxic Infestation works very, very well. I just went for Infestation there. I didn't see any use going for Toxic. And it's just going to keep spamming Fire Blast here. And I didn't want to be too much of an arse either. I didn't go for Recover. Actually, as I said, I didn't go Recover once in this battle. So that's the Torkoal down there. All right, so Crocodile is going to come back in. That's the last Pokemon. The only thing that was worrying me right here was the Bright Powder. I knew that, if you remember earlier on in the battle, the Ariados actually missed with the Cross Poison, so I was actually worried about that. All right, so I'm going to go down there to the Earthquake. The Toxic is racking up damage anyway, so it doesn't matter whether I stall or not. It's going to go down to the Golisopod next round anyway. Okay, so the last Pokemon, as I said, is my Golisopod. I was praying that I didn't get the Bright Powder miss. I mean, I already got one earlier on the game, and I'm able to go for the Aqua Jet here, and that's going to hit, which is good, and that's going to finish off the Crocodile. So a marathon battle there, guys. I hope you enjoy this one. Enjoy the bloopers.